There we go. Do you see live on there?
I do.
Okay, good. So we're live on YouTube and Facebook in just a second. There we go. Now we'll be live over on Instagram too. So, all right. Welcome everyone. We got a really fun special guest. This is Lauren Bane. Say hi, Lauren.
Hey.
And she's a part of a group, a coaching group, a phenomenal group of people called the Brand Builders, and a group, that I love these people. They're just awesome. AJ and Rory, and the community is incredible. And Laura and I got to talking, and she knows that I've helped so many women after 35, 45, 55, 65, not just help them lose fat, but regain their health back. And so we started having a little conversation, and I said, you know what? We got to have this conversation live.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you said, okay, I'm game for that. Even though you weren't looking perfect and made it perfect, that's great. I love it.
Let's do it.
So first of all, I know, I want to dive right in, because you are literally the perfect avatar of who I work with. So, would you just tell me real quick, like what you were experiencing, what you were talking about with menopause, and tell me what was going on?
Yeah, so I'm kind of the youngest of, I'm not the youngest, but I'm on the younger side of a lot of my really close friends. And so I've been watching some of my older friends go through this in their mid 50s or early 50s to mid 50s. I just turned 49. And so like literally on the day after I turned 49, I started noticing some shifts in my cycle and in my body. And I had already had like PMDD, for a long time after I had childbirth. And so hormones and hormonal fluctuations, I've always been pretty self-aware to. I've never really wanted to control them with birth control pills or anything else. And so I've just kind of had to be really self-aware of when these cycles and fluctuations would hit. So when this started changing at the beginning of this year too, I was like, oh, I'm in the throes of this. And when it came to getting research and education about it, there's just such a vast amount of information out there. And a lot of it's really conflicting as well. So it's really hard to know what to do. And so just, you can go to your traditional doctor who like birthed my 20-year-old son, who has kind of some ways of thinking, that's because she's been doing this for a long time in the OBGYN practice. And then there are, telehealth and online things now that are servicing women. And so there's just been a lot of uptick in the branding of menopause even. So I was just like, what you do and what you're talking about seems so interesting. And so I just wanted to learn more about how I can move into this phase of life with a little bit more of empowerment and education on how to tackle this and address it all.
Hell yes. Okay. So Lauren, just to give you a bit of background, and for people watching this both live and after, I want you to understand where I'm coming from, how I even got to this point. So I ran a healthcare center, a chiropractic office, and we had physical therapy, we had weight loss, we had a very, very, holistic center. And so just so you know, I saw people, about anywhere from 300 to 350 people or visits a week for years. I have seen fibromyalgia completely heal. I've seen MS completely heal. I've seen AIDS completely heal. I've seen multiple sclerosis. I've seen migraine headaches. The list goes on. I've seen cancers completely heal. Breast cancer, digestive cancer, skin cancers. And so understand that for years, we figured this process out. Now, there's a few things. The reason I'm bringing this up is because you've got to have a basic understanding to kind of understand where we're going in this conversation. So you're like, hey, I'm going through these changes. I want to understand them. There's a first few principles I want to make sure we get across. One of the first things that I wanted my patients to understand years ago was that your body is striving for health. Our medical system teaches you, and especially women, that your body is striving for disease. Your natural state is not disease. Your body is striving for health. That is a really big thing to understand. That's principle 1. Okay. Principle number 2, you have the most intelligent doctor inside you that is already coordinating your hormones. Did you know that, Lauren?
Intuitively, yes.
Well, let's make it less intuitive and make it more physical and real.
Okay.
You are circulating 60,000 miles of arteries and veins right now. Who's doing that?
My brain?
Well, your brain is a piece of tissue. How's your brain doing that?
I don't know. Teach me, Dr. Golman.
You have an intelligence inside you that's doing this. The same intelligence that literally coordinates the freaking planets is coordinating your cells inside you.
Okay.
This is wisdom that the medical community does not want you to know. And I'm serious when I say this. Not that medical doctors don't want you to know. It's the American Medical Association for more than 100 years. If you knew that you had an incredible intelligence inside you and a doctor inside you that's already striving for health, that's a little scary, Lauren, because you're not going to be a customer of pharmaceutical companies anymore. That's not cool. We got to make sure you are not empowered. And so it's one of the first things we want to do is make sure you get empowered with the facts. Okay. So those are the first two facts we're going to start with. Any thoughts on those at first?
No, I just want to keep listening.
Okay. Do those resonate with you?
I think I understand. It sounds a little woo. I'm not sure exactly like what that intelligence is and what all that is. I mean, it depends on how, we all kind of our philosophical backgrounds too on how we believe the energy and everything works within us. But I'm following, I'm tracking.
Okay, let's do less woo.
Okay.
60,000 miles of arteries and veins, circulating blood through. Does that sound woo to you?
No, that sounds anatomical and biological.
And it is then coordinating oxygen into every single cell you have. That's the intelligence. Let's make sure we bring this out of the freaking woo.
Okay.
How often do you have a new stomach lining?
I don't know.
What do you think?
A new stomach lining one time?
Just once, right?
I mean, I guess, do we change it with probiotics?
Every 24 to 48 hours, you have a brand new stomach lining.
Okay.
Lauren, who's changing that stomach lining?
Me.
So can you tell me how you change the stomach lining? What chemicals did you use to change it?
I would think some of our nutrition would change it.
So can you tell me exactly how to change it? How'd you do that?
No, I can't tell you how I would change it.
So you did not do it. You can't tell me how to do it. You're not the doctor. You have no idea how to do that.
No, I don't. I can't tell you how I would do it. I'm just saying it's probably happening indirectly through what I eat and how I consume and how I live my life.
The intelligence inside you is what's doing it.
Okay.
That's why I want to take this out of the woo. You literally have something so smart inside you that it's replacing your stomach lining every 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
You have something so intelligent inside you, you don't know how to circulate 60,000 miles of arteries and veins. I don't either. I have no idea to do that.
Okay.
60,000 miles of arteries and veins, that's pretty intelligent. That's pretty wild. Every single blood cell you have, after 120 days, it dies and is reborn. Who the heck is doing that? I don't know how to do that. Lauren, you know how to do that. Part of why I'm doing this, Lauren, is for you to get out of the woo and get into truly I want to get away from faith and more into knowledge.
Okay.
Because where knowledge is present, faith is not needed. How often do you have a brand new skeletal system?
I don't know.
What do you think? You didn't know you're going to be quizzed here, Lauren.
No, I don't. I'm a creative. I'm not into all the science.
By the way, Lauren, there is almost nobody that can answer these questions that I'm asking you right now. So just so you know, I'm just curious though.
How often do you have a new skeletal system?
Brand new skeletal system, yeah.
I would guess never. I mean, I guess I would think we're born with it. It gets
it.
Yeah, and then
that's it. That's all we got.
Okay.
But now you're starting to get a little more acquainted, Lauren, with this intelligence inside you. You're starting to get a little more acquainted. It's less wooey and more like, wow, there's an intelligence inside that's actually coordinating this. Every 7 years, every single bone cell you have dies and rebuilds. Every 7 years, you have a brand new skeletal system. Now, Lauren, how come your doctor didn't tell you that? How come you've never known that? Because you get way too empowered about your health and less reliant on drugs if you know this. Now, again, you understand, I've worked with over 300 people a week for 17 years. So where I started learning this was not from a book. It was from actual experience with people. And so one of the first things to understand is, wow, we've got this intelligence inside us. That's you eat your, I'm curious, did you eat breakfast today?
No, I like to fast in the morning.
Okay. Did you eat dinner last night?
Yes, I stopped at 8.
Okay. Is that food going to turn into your cells and tissues?
Turn into my cells and tissues. Sure. I don't know. I don't know how it all works.
So your food is how you literally, your body takes your food and turns it into your cells and tissues and excretes the waste. But how did you do that, Lauren?
I'm guessing that inner intelligence.
Good answer, because you will never be able to tell me this. Now, here's the thing why we're going into this direction. Now you understand you have an intelligence inside you and you go, oh shit, that's pretty wild. I've got an intelligence that breaks down my food and turns it into my body. I've got an intelligence that's building my skeletal system, circulating blood. Like, whoa. I want you to know that, Lauren, because women have been so disempowered in the medical system. They've been told that their body does not make the chemicals it needs, and therefore you need to go to a company who's going to make them for you. That gets me fired up. That's bullshit. So, very interesting to see this intelligence that it's in there doing this thing. It's like, well, that's really wild. Now, do you know, if I had a medical doctor here and I asked him all the questions, or her, all the questions I asked you, do you know their answer would be, I don't know also? Because none of us, if you and I read every anatomical, biological, any anatomy textbook on the planet, watch this, how much about the human body would we understand if you and I could read every piece of knowledge we have about the body? What percentage of the body would we understand of how it works?
20%.
That's a really good guess. It's about 3%. So when you're going to a doctor, our knowledge is based on 3%. We are clueless about how the body works. This is why I like to rely on the inner intelligence. Okay. So here's where I'm going with all this. You'd asked about first having that foundation, right? And you said, well, now I'm kind of going into like 30, 40s, 50s. And like you told me I'm gaining fat. And I want to know what's the best way to kind of do this. Okay. So there's a few things. One of the biggest secrets I found is if you are a fat burner, your menopause changes are very minimal. Your symptoms are very minimal. If you are a sugar burner, your menopausal changes are terrible. Now, no one's telling anyone that. Not one doctor is ever telling any woman that. Because, Lauren, the women that I get come to me, and here's what I hear. Dr. Golman, I've gained 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds since my 30s, my 40s, my 50s. The doctor put me on hormone replacement therapy, and I gained more weight. Next, my doctor put me on Ozempic, and I felt terrible. Next, my doctor put me on anxiety meds because I felt terrible. This is what I'm seeing that women go through, and I'm fed up with it. So years ago, I watched in my practice people healing from these diseases, but I saw women going to Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, doing paleo, keto, and starving themselves. And in the long run, getting fatter. So here's a few principles let's go through. Number one, if you understand fat burner for sugar burner, have you heard of that concept before?
No, actually.
Okay, so check this out. Your body and your system operate when you burn fat, you have hormone balance. That might be one to just note in your mind. When you are a fat burner, you have hormone balance. When you are a sugar burner, you have hormone chaos. Okay? Well, what is fat burning and sugar burning? Every human being on this planet is born as a fat burner. That's it. God intended you, the universe intended you to be a fat burner. You're born as a fat burner. But we switch over to burning sugar for one of two reasons: excess stress and excess sugar. Welcome to America. So now what we have is, I have women that call me and go, Dr. Golman, I've lost my energy and I've got these hot flashes. And listen, I didn't figure this out I wasn't trying to fix menopause when I did this. I was trying to help women lose weight. So what I started noticing was, if you're a sugar burner, you are building hormones off of sugar. Understand that if you burn sugar, your hormones are in a chaotic state versus a woman who's burning fat. So excess stress and excess carbohydrates or sugar switches someone over to burning sugar. When you burn sugar, you will have terrible symptoms: poor sleep, poor energy, arthritic conditions that come really early, digestive problems. And then you go to your doctor and they go, no problem. I got a pill for every one of those things, Lauren. We got a pill for your digestion. We got a pill for your joints. We got you covered. We got a pill for your energy. You know what? You want to sleep better? We got a pill for that too.
But isn't that because most people don't have the discipline or desire to do the lifestyle changes needed, so they don't need those pills?
No, I don't think so. I think if people knew the truth, I think they would. If they're not educated and not told the truth, that's what I think. And after working with thousands of people, I've not found that to be the case. We've been trained that we need to take a pill for our health. We've been trained since you've been a little kid. It's like in our wiring now. That's why I started with the first part of this conversation I did, which was, I've got an intelligence inside me that wants me to be healthy, right? This is the false. Let me tell you the false truth. The false truth is, you turn 40 and 50. Here's the false truth: fat comes with age. Disease comes with age. Wrong. Low energy, poor sleep comes with age. Wrong. That's the false truth. Okay. So I have found that if people know the truth is, when you truly create health with sin inside yourself, the symptoms of menopausal changes are very light. So what I started noticing was, women would come onto my program, and we have women lose anywhere from 10 to 30 pounds of fat in 40 days. And what I do is we actually reset their hormones, okay? And we reset their hormones not by giving them hormones. And that was one of the things you and I talked about before, was in the history of taking hormones, I asked you, how many people's hormones have been fixed by taking hormones? And you're like, I don't know. And I said, 0. No one's hormones are ever fixed by taking hormones, because your hormones, they don't work as well when you're taking outside hormones. You're not even using your own hormones. It doesn't fix it. So what happens is, when someone is burning sugar, hormonal chaos. So we slowly flip that switch from sugar over to burning fat. When someone burns fat, fat is a precursor for hormones, the precursor that the universe or God intended you to have. So I'll see by day 7, someone goes, Dr. Golman, it's really weird. I'm not having hot flashes. And I go, that's really weird. Really? Dr. Golman, it's really weird. I'm off my anxiety meds. Well, that's really weird. We didn't do anything to get off anxiety meds. Dr. Golman, it's really weird. I'm slept through the night. Well, that's really weird. Dr. Golman, it's weird. My belly's going away. Huh? What's happening? You're burning the best fuel source you have. So fat has 9 calories per gram versus a protein or carbohydrate has 4. So someone who is burning fat has double the energy. And you literally have a higher IQ burning fat. Like literally, if you took an IQ test, the fat burner would be way higher than the sugar burner. And even if you took the same IQ test one day as a sugar burner, fat burner, you'd see a difference in your IQ. So that's a principle number 1, is if you have gone through stress, alcohols, sugars, simple carbohydrates, and have switched over to being a sugar burner, you're going to have worse symptoms through menopause. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on that?
Well, I guess you're going to get there, but like, how do you change from the fat to the sugar? Is it all nutrition based?
So if you've been a sugar burner for many years, it's very hard to switch back by just diet. And that's why I created the Fast 40 program. So we have a whole program of 40 days of doing this. You could switch back. It'll take years to switch back, but we switch over in 40 days. So we use a specific supplement that triggers the hypothalamus. So you've got two hormones called leptin and ghrelin. Leptin and ghrelin are what tell you to burn fat or sugar. They also tell you when you're full or when you're hungry. And when those are completely out of balance, you can't tell when you're hungry or full, and you can't tell, like, you're pretty much your fuel system is off. So we start switching over within about 7 days. So we do have a specific diet, but the diet doesn't work without our supplement. The supplement doesn't work without the diet, and neither of these work without the coaching. And here's why I say this. I find that most women are under-eating. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what will get you to store fat really quickly and get fatter. You're not going to like this one, Lauren. I'm going to say something very unpopular to you. Fasting is causing fat people. Oh! I just pissed off a lot of people. Do you know how many people get on the phone with me? How many women who say, Dr. Golman, I love to fast. They go, great. How much weight have you lost? None. Okay, why are you fasting? Oh, because I feel so good. But you have 30 pounds on you. Does that feel good? No, it feels terrible. Then why are you starving yourself? So you cannot starve yourself to healthy. It does not work. Fasting is a trend. I've watched trends for 30 years. It is a trend. There is a right way to fast for sure. But one of the main things I do is make sure women start eating more. How much more? It's specific to everyone. I don't do any cookie cutter things. Most of my women, when they lose 10, 20, 30 pounds by the end of this, is what they say. Dr. Golman, I'm down 4 dress sizes down, right? And I'm eating twice as much as I did before. I'm eating more than my husband. And what I tell them is, welcome to healthy. Welcome to healthy. Mm-hmm. So the two big principles here is, if you go into menopause as a sugar burner, your symptoms are terrible. And you will get put on every pill under the sun and it won't fix it. It makes things worse. If you have been under eating and you've not nourished yourself properly, menopause will be terrible, because all you're really getting to pull off is the sugar. So someone's health really transforms when they go back to fat burning. And when we follow with what I call chrononutrition. Chrononutrition is eating on time to stimulate proper circadian rhythm. Eating on time and eating enough those are the two things that I see that we utilize to switch someone back over to fat burning. What thoughts do you have?
Well, I don't know if it's related. It's related, but just I'm thinking forward as to what is the trajectory, if you follow your philosophy, for a woman's cycle. How does it naturally cycle off? And like, because they always say, like, you're in menopause once you've gone 365 days without your cycle. So then what traditionally in your methodology would a woman expect to do once she starts noticing she's transitioning through this chapter of life?
Can I tell you, not in my words, I'll tell you in my patient's words. Dr. Golman, I can't even tell I'm going through menopause. That is literally what women tell me. I'm not kidding you.
Do they still have cycles?
Oh, yeah. It's different for everyone, right? So 100% I've had women's cycles start back again when they get healthy again.
Right.
I've had women who have no cycles, but I can tell you the biggest thing, reason I'm pointing this out, is women will say, I can barely tell. When you look at most women going, my hot flashes are terrible, I'm feeling bloated, I'm feeling fat, that goes away. That completely goes away. So when you're burning sugar, we have hormone chaos because there's so much cortisol surges in the system. And there's mood swings stop. Fatigue goes away, belly fat goes away. When you're burning sugar, you have more inflammation. Listen, the reason I'm bringing these up, Lauren, is because all these things are what women associate with menopause. Mm-hmm. It's not menopause. It's you burning sugar in your system. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that you eat a lot of sugar. This is moments in your past of stress in combination with carbohydrates that switched it way back then. Most of my women have cut sugar out and they're still burning sugar. So it's not so much eating sugar right now. But so the symptoms I see that women think are menopausal changes is more inflammation, more fat storage, because weight gain becomes a lot easier, right? So these are the things that are incorrectly associated with menopause. So every single one of us that's gone through this with me has gone, this is wild. I can barely tell I'm going through any changes. That's what I'm telling you. They barely notice any changes, cycle or no cycle. Some women's cycles have started again and they have a cycle for a while. Some of it goes away, but either way, they're not in this terrible wreck of a state because menopause happened.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other thoughts on that?
No, I think just what I keep coming back to is that just from what I've seen over my time is like, and even because I'm a caregiver for my parents right now too. And
Yeah.
so much of it is lifestyle choices. And to your point, not being educated. And we do just kind of come into this world and listen to our parents and go to the doctor and go to our physicals and do everything without really being taught how to harness the power of our body and how that should be working in concert with everything. I mean, you do hear like, if you're going to drink a diet Dr. Pepper, that's not good for you. Like we know the things that aren't good for you and we know like the things we should be doing. And so I feel like I am surrounded by people that usually are okay with popping the pills and taking the GLP-1s and doing all that because the changes they'd have to make in their lifestyle, they're not willing to make. So they're willing to gamble with what they're putting in their body, I guess, because, you know, it does provide weight loss. I do know a bunch of people that do Ozempic and look great and feel great. And then, you know, I do have parents that are medical mysteries to me with the kind of stuff they've put into their bodies and how long they've lived with it. But they are both down to 1 kidneys each. And my mom has dementia. So who knows? But exactly. I guess just in general, the thing that I've responded to the most, what you're talking to, is the ability to kind of comprehend the power we do have internally and to have a better understanding of how it all works would make you feel more empowered in the end.
Yep. And exactly. And I can tell you, 4 or 5 times a day, I get on those phone with those people that you think look good and feel good. I get on the phone with those people who call me and say, I feel terrible. They're emaciated on Ozempic. Just so you understand, when you take those injections, you certainly lose weight, but you got to understand there's 3 types of weight to lose: muscle, water, and fat. When you take Ozempic, Wegovy, even Zepbound, you lose some fat, and then you start losing muscle. You don't lose much water. And that's when you really start causing major hormone imbalances.
Mm-hmm.
So and just so you know, watch those people that you said look good and feel good. Watch what happens when they stop taking it. Watch what happens when they stop taking it. None of this has ever been permanent. Remember, this was a diabetic medication that we're giving people to lose weight. Just FYI, right? Mm-hmm. So I tend to attract people for sure that are like, you know what, I'm tired of not understanding my body. And I can tell you, it is not easier to inject yourself with a chemical. There's 40 to 60 lawsuits per day being filed in multiple clinics because of kidney damage, because of gallstones. And one of the things that people are, I've watched this for 30 years with different medications like this. What you're not accounting for is what happens 10 years from now. We're not accounting for is what happens 20 years from now. Because when someone takes those injections, they then eat less. When you eat less, you're malnourished. When you're malnourished, you create literally early osteoporosis, which is one of the long-term side effects that women are seeing is early bone loss from Ozempic. Ozempic didn't cause it. It's that they tricked their brain into thinking they could stop eating and eat less.
Do you think it's helpful for people with real diabetes, though?
That's what it was for. That's what it was for. It did never fix diabetes.
Right.
It didn't fix it. But the funny piece is, again, I know what you're saying about like, well, what's the give and take? If I can just inject myself, there's always a benefit and drawback stuff. I inject myself, I can eat less and lose weight quickly. But remember, in the long run, you end up paying for it. There's gallbladders being removed, kidney damage. I mean, this is what's happening long term, right? So again, there's benefits and drawbacks to all of this. What I realized was I got really tired of women not getting the truth. And, you're going to see within the next year or two, most of these medications will probably end up being banned because they're going to see the long-term effects. So again, I don't have any rights or wrongs, goods or bads, but I'm on the phone and I'm in real time with women who have literally gone through the Ozempic and go, I'm screwed. Like, I can't keep taking it because the moment I stop taking it, I blow up again. Right. So it's not as hard as you think to actually regain your health back as a woman. When I say 40 days, most of the women that are on Ozempic are on it for months, 3 to 6 months. We rewire your hormones in 40 days. And it's not, and remember the things I told you, Lauren, is when you said some of the lifestyle changes, I spend most of my time forcing women to eat more, not less. I find a very difficult change is to just eat less. That's rough. You're a very powerful, high energy burning woman. If you eat less, it's not going to work good long term. You have a strong mind. You're building a business. You're very active. You should not be eating less.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the worst things you could do for your hormones and for menopause is eat less.
Right.
When your body's using, right? When you go through a cycle changes, you burn more calories. So your body actually needs more when you're going through these changes. And certain parts of the menstrual cycle, when you actually do go through menstrual cycle, certain parts of the menstrual cycle, you'll notice you're really, really hungry. And so I train my women to eat more in those days. But what most women do is they don't pay attention to that because they think, they've been taught that hunger is the enemy. They eat less and they end up gaining weight because you have a 25,000-year-old mechanism in your brain that says when you starve yourself, it will store fat.
Right. I found that just condensing that eating window has been helpful for me and just digestion and everything else. So I've just liked it because it's just, I don't know if I consume less calories necessarily. That can be another call, but I've just found that I do kind of feel better because when I do eat food past 8 o'clock or so, I just don't end up feeling as good. So I feel like maybe I just need that amount of time to digest, but it probably has a lot to do with the nutrition as well. So
eating food past 8 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you shouldn't be eating food past 8 o'clock at night, but that has nothing to do with you skipping your meal. That's just you eating food too late.
You think I'm skipping? So eating from 12 to 8 is skipping a meal?
No, I thought you were saying about fasting. You shouldn't eat before like late at night. Yeah, that's something you shouldn't do for sure.
I'm calling it fasting because I'm not eating till noon.
Yeah, you're skipping a meal. You're skipping breakfast.
Okay.
You're skipping the meal that triggers circadian rhythm to let you know that you're awake. Do you know it's not just the sun, it's food. So the sun and food are what trigger your circadian rhythm to let you know to release cortisol in your system saying, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm active, I'm ready to get going. And Lauren, all the stuff I'm talking to you about, just about everything I've told you about in this call, in this conversation is completely freaking opposite of what people have been told.
Yeah.
That's why I have such good results. I'm telling you the truth.
Okay.
It's very interesting to feel all this, but the funny thing is, you can kind of go, well, I think you'd mentioned to me, we don't have to share it on the call. I think you'd said, hey, have you gained extra weight on you?
I started noticing that when the cycle stopped at the beginning of the year. And so I'd gone a couple of months and I was like, okay, I guess here we are, we're in it. And then I just saw it start coming on. And then when I did start taking like more of a feminine, the maca root supplement and everything came back, I was like crazy to see my metabolism just take off with that hormonal flux. And I was like, how do we control this? And then my traditional gynecologist back in the day was saying I should just stay on birth control 24/7 and just not have a cycle anymore.
There you go.
And then
just
that
drug yourself up.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know if they've been taught how to control the hormonal fluctuation that happens naturally.
Why? And I want to ask you something. You mentioned about controlling your metabolism. Why do you want to control your metabolism?
Well, it's just nice to be able to feel like you're burning. And when I know I can feel like whenever the hormones are happening, and I've asked my doctor this before too, I'm like, I wish I just had, I guess they have it for diabetes, but I wish I could like look at my levels to kind of quickly see what's happening right now in this hormonal fluctuation at this time of the month that's causing me to be able to eat anything. And I'm like losing weight and I'm eating everything. It happened to me too when I was in Hashimoto's. I was like the skinniest I'd ever been. I didn't even know what was happening. And I didn't know until I started feeling sick that that was all about hormones as well. And so I see the hormonal connection. I just, the control of it and the ability to control it has been foreign to me. And
Yes.
unless it's through, I guess, nutrition and exercise. But even that, I don't see the tie-in to how that controls the calendar shift of hormones.
Your hormones are operating chaotically as a sugar burner.
Okay.
If you burn fat as a fuel source, you don't have those chaotic changes, as chaotic as you're noticing them right now.
Okay.
Changes. That's what I was telling you. Right. So I know if you have 5, 10, 15, whatever extra pounds of fat on you, your body has forgotten fat as a fuel source. So when when your brain, your hypothalamus is using fat as your primary fuel source, you'll notice hormone changes, but they're like this. Not like this. That's the chaotic hormones that you've gotten used to. And that's what I'm telling you. Years ago when I realized this, I'm like, oh my God, that's the key. And again, I found this out the hard way. I didn't know that was going to happen. We started having women reset their body to fat burning, and they would tell me, my hot flashes are gone. My metabolism is like stabilizing. My sleep has gotten better. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you approach menopause as a sugar burner, you're going to be all over the place. Now, again, so it's almost like an extreme roller coaster ride versus like a little bit of like hill climbs like that, right? That's what was intended to be. And the reason I asked you about the metabolism is because you have something so much better than a monitor. When let me give you a little secret here. When someone's burning sugar as a fuel source, sugar tricks your brain into not knowing when you're hungry and full. That's the key. It's off. When you burn fat, your brain accurately knows when you're hungry and when you're full. That's really important. Okay. So remember that intelligence on the inside I was telling you can trust? It's hard to trust it. Everything, our country has dumped sugar into everything. You've probably seen this. Everything. Beef jerky, dried fruit, all the low-fat stuff you see, sugar. And what it does over time is that's what causes us to kind of have those wirings off. So anyway, okay. I know, and Lauren, I was so excited talking to you.
Yes.
I didn't talk about what you do, but I want to do another conversation with you if you feel open to that.
Oh, awesome. Well, I also deal with like midlife changes. I've through Brand Builders, I've discovered a passion for personal branding, and my 25 years of doing advertising and branding for products and services has led me into this really cool space where I'm helping a lot of impact-driven professionals transition from a long career of 25 to 30 years of having an expertise in something, and now they want to share it with the world and share it with an audience or a customer. And so I'm helping taking all that kind of strategic framework that they've started in foundation and turning them into an actual brand through these really distinctive brand identities and one-of-a-kind website designs. And so I've been working with a select group of people and representing really high impact driven professionals. And so it's been a lot of fun, and you're one of them too.
Yeah. I definitely want to chat with you about that, because and we know brand builders are so good at strategy. Mm-hmm. They don't focus on actually doing the branding side, which I really like that they say, hey, this is not what we do. Yeah. So this is such a perfect niche for you and connection with brand builders too.
Yeah. It's been great. It's been awesome. And I love working with amazing people like this that are very passionate about what they believe in and have a lot of expertise in it. So it's been great talking to you.
Yeah, you too. I think if you want open to it, I'd love to then we can do a separate conversation and just talk about what you do, because I want to extract that out, because I got so excited to talk to you about the women's stuff. I was like, oh my God. So
no problem. Love the part too.
Yeah, that's right. That's very cool. All right. Awesome. Well, thanks for being on and being willing to like be vulnerable and raw and real.
Definitely. So where should we check? So you can go to laurenbane.com to check out what I do, but where should we go to check out what you do?
So yeah, most of the people watch this will know it. fast40weightloss.com. And you can also see me all over YouTube as well. So thanks for being on.
Thank you so much. Bye.